Shadaab, welcome.
Hi.
To the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Originally, my family is from Assam. I'm born and brought up in Delhi. I am a filmmaker and I make a lot of brand films and social media content now. Even though I don't like it, but that's what's selling right now. क्या बोलते हैं जैसे like पापी पेट का सवाल है. But I like Bombay, but also hate Bombay at the same time.
That's a natural feeling for anyone who comes to Bombay. Bombay has been home for me.
Yeah, so you're a Bombay boy.
So I've like grown up. Everything for me has happened here. Luckily for me, I got into the filmmaking process all right here itself.
Okay.
I didn't have to shift my base.
Yeah.
The love-hate relationship, it all changed when I got into this field and I started shooting. I generally tell people like for 10 years I traveled and shot around India. So from tribes to kings and everyone in between, I've shot with them.
Nice. We just met, but like I have heard about you since 2018, right? So when I came to Bombay, started making friends here because of work. So I heard your name a lot. So but today is the first time we are meeting, and so like
And today is the first time we met. I was like, Shadaab, let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
And
that's an instant connect. But I wanted to ask you, so tell me, like, how did you get into this line? You're from Bombay. Like, getting into filmmaking wasn't as difficult for you like it is for someone like me who's come from, as they say here, in Bahar Gaon se aaya hai.
I'll tell you the story, okay?
Yeah.
So my dad did Malayalam theatre.
Oh.
He did it.
Wow.
He used to do that in Kerala.
Okay.
And he had got opportunities to be an actor in Kerala as a child.
Oh, nice.
But his parents didn't let him do it.
Oh.
And then once he moved to Bombay in end of 1950s, 1960s.
Okay.
He continued doing Malayalam theatre in Bombay.
Wow.
Okay, so that was one exposure. Second was both my brothers, when they started out their career, they started out as graphic animators, basically. 93 or 94 was the first time we got a desktop in our house. I used to watch them, like, sit and make, and they used to be sitting there for hours, and then they would put it on render, and then render would take a long time.
Yeah.
So I used to look at them and say, I like what they're doing, okay, but I can't sit and do that job.
Yeah.
Then in the 90s, obviously, MTV came down.
Yeah.
Okay, MTV came to India.
A major cultural moment for a lot of us.
Absolutely. First video that stuck in my head was REM's Losing My Religion.
Oh, I love
okay?
that.
So I got hooked onto watching music videos. I got hooked onto watching films after that because Star Movies, HBO. So I was like, okay, this is fascinating, this is interesting. I like the visuals. I want to do something like that. My brother used to work with Ketan Mehta at that point of time.
Oh, fuck, nice.
So he told me, okay, I have some contacts. Why don't you come and sit for the edits? Understand how the edits are done. My first edit experience was in the NFDC building at Worli.
Okay.
Sat there all night with the editor while he was cutting a film. I did not understand much. He had to get his work done. He's not going to sit and teach me at that point of time.
Yeah.
My brother got me to meet a producer from MTV.
Okay.
So he asked me, what do you want to do? Pre-production, post-production? I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because I absolutely had no idea because none of us were from the field.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I don't know, but I've taken up, I've just applied for a course at XIC.
Okay, nice.
He said, yes, you finish your course and then you come. 3 months into my course, a friend of mine, he was working as an AD on Punjabi music videos.
Okay.
Like, would you like to join? I said, okay.
Yeah.
So there was Jasbir Jassi, Ashok Masti.
Oh, yeah. All the old, now oldies.
Yeah,
OGs.
Bali Jakpal, I think he was a UK artist. So music videos happened. After music videos, I did 2 fiction shows as a AD. So I got into advertising. So advertising I did for a few years and then came non-fiction. And I had no idea about non-fiction. Honestly, dude.
Nice.
So I started directing as a correspondent first.
Okay.
After that, I got my first show as a director, which was a fashion-based lifestyle show. I was handling a team of 6 talented producers, directors. From there, the journey just went on. Then came in the era of reality shows.
Okay.
So my first reality show I got into was like Idol 3. So after being a director for like 15 odd years, it's always about like, how do you level up, right? Okay, you're a director. Either I can stick to being a director or, okay, what else can I do? So then was my time of, okay, I want to create ideas and I want to create IPs. What can provide for me or for my family over a period of time?
Yeah.
So then that was the idea of creating formats basically.
Nice.
So that's in short my entire journey of like 25 years of being here. Same question back at you. How did you get into this field?
Like you said, very early on, like, when all of us were growing up. So I'm, as I said, from Delhi. Delhi, mein, the life is very different from Bombay, but still, like all my friends had more or less their things sorted out. Like someone wanted to do physics, chemistry, maths, and then get into engineering and then get into banking.
Yeah.
So like I never had goals like that. I saw a film called Border when I was a kid and I came home and I told my parents that I want to get into the army.
Huh.
Someone said, "You border security force, you will be a security guard." They didn't know, and I was like demotivated. So while growing up, I did not actually know what I want to do. Then like school got over, college happened, and like one of my friends was decided to do journalism. So I was like, I'll also do journalism. When I started studying, so as part of the course, you know, you have to make a college film and everything. I did that, and that is when I realized that I really like being the boss on a set and calling the shots and telling people what to do. Maybe I had some personal issues, but I was taking it out at work. So then once college got over, so one of my childhood friends, he's an actor today. So he wanted to come to Bombay, and I came to Bombay with him. And he's a good enough actor now, and through him, I got into a film as an assistant director. I worked on that film set for 3 days. The first thing they were shooting was a song. And that is the moment I realized I don't want to be an AD because I basically went to the director and I suggested कि sir ये frame ऐसे करके ले ले.
Ooh, no.
I was blasted.
Yeah.
And the next 2 days, my job was to get water for people. There were spots, but my job was to get water for people. So then I really felt bad and didn't know what to do, and I wasn't enjoying Bombay so much. So I went back to Delhi, and somehow luck happened. I didn't know anybody. I got a job in NDTV, and NDTV used to be like, you know, a prestigious place back then, and so I wasn't in news. So NDTV also used to make a lot of travel shows and all.
Right.
So I got to assist on 6 travel shows, and that was a very different experience assisting from what I had learnt on films, because on a TV show you would know it best. It's a very small crew. The AD is the production guy. Is sometimes if I'm driving ka shot lena, to is the driver also, right? So I was doing all of those things, and on the job in my 6th show as an AD, something happened, and the director on that shoot, this was the last episode of that show that we were shooting. The director, and I don't know why, I don't know how, I pushed the director aside, not physically, and I took over his role. Nobody asked me to do that, and because I was the AD on 25 episodes.
Correct.
So I felt a personal connection to that show.
Yeah.
So I overstepped my boundaries. I asked him to step aside. I directed. I came back to Delhi. We were shooting in Manali. I came back to Delhi and I was prepared that I would be fired.
What year was this?
2013.
Okay.
So I was prepared that the moment I reach Delhi, I will hand over the footage and I will be fired. My creative head, she saw the footage. She said that what you did was wrong, but what you also did was very good. So she basically gave me another show to direct. And that is how I got into it. Then I left Delhi again, came back to Bombay. I also worked on a couple of reality shows because I didn't know anybody in Bombay. So the only friend I knew, I was like, somehow get me a job somewhere in filmmaking in Bombay.
Correct. And that happens to us because at some point, from being a director, you're looking for that next gig, right?
Yeah.
And the kind of gig you are actually looking for doesn't turn up.
It didn't.
And then you make do with, okay, this is what I need to do to survive, so you do it, basically.
Yeah. So I came, by this time, I had directed one whole travel show in Delhi. I had done a couple of documentaries in Delhi, TV documentaries. But when I came to Bombay, I was offered the job, like you said, of a reality producer. And I felt bad. And I was asking people कि अच्छा आपके पापा क्या करते हैं, आपकी मम्मी को क्या problem है, because you know how reality shows are, right? So I did 2 reality shows back to back, and by the time the second show got over, which was at that point of time India's biggest reality show, I realized that nobody wants to do anything new on television. So that is when I very consciously decided I'm not going to do TV and started trying my luck in advertising.
Okay.
Luckily things worked out. And this was the time when TV ads, say, people were just shifting to digital ads. So a lot of brand work was coming along. So I did that. And luckily since then I've been doing brand work. And now, because suddenly again that shift has happened, now people want ads specifically for Instagram.
Yeah.
It gets very irritating, I'm sure, when you're explaining a shot to a client. And that client, you are explaining a master shot, you know, कि sir 85mm में wide lens लगा के shot लेंगे, and the client comes to you and asks, phone पे कैसा दिखेगा Instagram पे? So that is the bit I don't like. But yeah, so now the bread and butter is very good thanks to influencer marketing and social media marketing. But yeah, the eventual goal still remains to make a film.
So basically, if I look at it, like you and I are a decade apart, right, in the industry. It's somewhere there. Like I started in 2000. You started in?
I started in 2011.
Correct. So we are a decade apart, basically.
Decade apart, yeah.
Crazy. So I mean, for me, the same thing happened when those kind of shows stopped coming into the market.
Yeah.
Suddenly, everyone's focus turned to who will win the 1 CR, right, on reality shows.
Yeah.
And you had to like get in there, figure that out, adapt to it, and then show your skills over there.
Yeah.
And your footage might go on the entire episode for probably a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And you put in so much effort for that 1 minute.
Yeah. I remember, like, you know, for me, it used to be like, at the end of the day, we used to preview the tapes of all the producers, right? All the bosses, the cameramen, the entire team of 30 people are sitting to preview your footage. And I remember the first 2 cities, I used to always wonder, like, how do you shoot reality? So I thought reality means you shoot it like a documentary.
Yeah. No.
I'll just explain this to you, like how I understood how it made sense. So I was working with Minitech.
It was the production house.
The production house which was doing maximum reality shows at that point of time. And the producers were great. I mean, it was a great experience for me to work over there because I genuinely understood reality working with them. So my first 2 cities, while we were shooting the auditions in Jaipur or Jodhpur, I was like, what am I shooting? I should watch the other reality producers making people yell and all that to get those grand shots, right? That's not something I would be able to do very easily.
And that's not exactly filmmaking also.
Correct, right?
It's crowd control.
Yeah. So what I used to do was when producers were shooting that, I would get my camera to a different angle. Okay. Like an angle that I liked, which would look good on camera, I did that. So I used to tell my cameraman, okay, now everyone's shooting frontal, let's go profile-ish.
Yeah.
And let's get the depth over here and let's play with this, you know, frame it nicely and make it look nice and picturesque, basically. Now the thing is, when it comes to reality, the thing that I understood on that same show, last city of auditions was, there was this moment where the judges were meeting the contestants. So I think we were in Delhi, and I remember my producer, Niret Alva, telling me, like, George, you need to shoot reality like a documentary. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, decide when you go in with your camera, decide when you move out, use your camera to do the talking.
Yeah.
So what happened was, at that point of time, there was a moment where this girl came out running and she was crying. So normally what happens on reality shows is everyone goes into the face. We were there already with her mother waiting for the results. And she came out and she broke down. Your unit is you, your cameraman, your sound guy and your logger.
Yeah.
4 of us are in one line, okay? I caught my cameraman and I tugged. So we took 1 step behind. All 4 of us in like sync. We started moving backwards.
Okay.
So from a close shot, we just moved slowly away, like, you know, from the subject that we were shooting, the girl and her mother. It was just a shot of moving away and giving them that moment. That's when I understood the pulse of reality.
Yeah.
Till then, I didn't get it. And from there, I didn't stop. From there, I was like, okay, how can I take it to the next level? How can I play around with this? But the good part is, like, with reality shows, I spent around probably like 10 years traveling around the country, and that showed a lot of India to me. And I think for me, that was the most beautiful part. Like, the exposure that I had to the country. For someone who was like planning to leave India, go abroad, study, and probably continue filmmaking over there. At the age of 25, the first time I traveled around India, I mean, till then I just knew Bombay, Kerala, Goa. The moment I got to other places around India, I went to the north, south, east, west, and I realized how beautiful this place was.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, why do I need to go anywhere else? And then I also realized the power of something as simple as a namaste, how it can open out doors for you. For me, I would walk into a small town because the way I was dressed as a guy from a city, small town, people would look at me like, you know, with squinting eyes and like wonder, like try to gauge me. And I should just walk up to them and I would say like namaste, and then they would be like, "Aajao beto, chai piyo."
Yeah. Immediate
connection. I realized the meaning of namaste. It's like, you know, my soul recognizes yours. It's that's the thing, right? And then you start chit chatting with people who you have zero connect with.
Yeah.
When you're shooting reality, you got to create shots out of nothing.
Yeah.
You don't get a technical day.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have the lights, you don't have the equipment.
There's no rehearsal.
There's no rehearsal. That's you, your DOP, and your sound guy. You can be in the middle of nowhere. So we were shooting a show called Lead India. Okay. And we were shooting in the wetlands in Calcutta.
Okay.
Now we went into this whole expanse of land. We are shooting with this one person who was our subject. He and I walked ahead. My DOP was behind. He was taking visuals of the landscape. I told him, I'll just walk with this guy right till the end and I'll leave him, and then you catch a shot of him coming from a distance. Now what happened was, when I turned around to look at my DOP, he was like 100 meters away. And I saw him panning the camera. So when I saw him panning the camera, I had no other option but to go flat on the ground. So I basically jumped into a ditch kind of a thing. I was flat, I was out of frame. He panned, he got this guy in frame, standing over there in the middle of nowhere. I counted to like 20 and I stood up. But while I was down there, I realized it was a slope. I'm lying down over here, it's a slope, and this is the land over here, okay? And I was like, it would be great to see this guy walking and emerging from there.
Yeah, like hero shot.
The hero shot.
Yeah.
So I called my DOP over, Apurva. I was like, Apu, come, look at what I saw right now. We set up that shot and we took it. We made this guy go back, told him to walk towards camera, and that became the opening shot of his story.
Wow.
And it ended up being a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
And that's how reality is, right?
Yeah.
You pull shots out of nowhere.
Designing and executing as you go.
Everything happens as you go.
Very fast.
It's very fast. You have to be quick thinking.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of reality. If you can do reality to that extent, I think anything else becomes easy.
But yeah, what I feel is maybe because, like you mentioned, there is a gap between you and me of a decade. So when you were doing these things, none of this was done before. So you were creating and making new things. By the time I came into the scene of reality shows, the only brief we would get is, "Pehle ye ho rakha hai, repeat it." So what I felt my problem with reality shows was that I wasn't creating new things.
Yeah.
I was replicating what you and people like you had created a decade ago.
Correct.
Right? By the time, because I know when I heard your name for the first time, you were a big shot.
Okay.
And I had just come from Delhi and, trying to figure out my grounding here. And so that is, we used to hear like, George is this guy, he's heading this, heading that. So now I'm hearing this story. So this is the conclusion I'm coming to. Why you loved it when you were doing the groundwork and I didn't love it was because I wasn't getting to create things.
Do your own stuff, basically. It's get your imagination out there, because so that's your stamp, right?
Exactly.
I mean, for me, I always felt that my visuals needed to have my stamp on it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, that is what sets me up as a director.
Yeah, that's the signature of a director. Like something unique that you do, right?
Correct.
So, Abhi, that is the thing which I really feel nice, even though advertising, as I said, it's convolvulating as we speak because the medium is changing. Now people don't go into storytelling in advertising, right? It's more about what is the hook thing, what is the selling point. Earlier also USP was important.
Correct.
But to talk about that USP, we surrounded it with a good narrative, a story. You think about the old Cadbury's ad or good ads that used to be there, like the Bajaj Chetak, Hamara Bajaj, all of these. Now it has changed a lot. But still, like in advertising, what I like is that, yes, my end goal is to make the client happy because he's paying the bills.
Correct.
But at the same time, I can show my creativity.
Correct.
Right? I really like the fact that, some person sitting in some agency has written a script, which is just 4 lines. Then it comes to a production house, then a director. Like if I'm selected, then I give in my treatment.
Correct.
How I look at it. And this about being a director, and you will agree with it, this really makes it a difference that, something that you randomly think in your head, that comes to life.
Correct.
And then if it gets published, if it's on the internet, if it's on television, then it's there for eternity.
Yeah.
Like, this is something I really like about that line of work.
Yeah.
Even though the mediums are changing very fast.
Right.
Like now I've been in advertising, like making ad films, brand films specifically since 2019 I've been doing it. So it's 6 years. Till date, I have made just one ad, which is a TV ad. Because right when I started, the medium TV started dying.
Right.
It became YouTube and Facebook.
Correct.
Then now it's just Instagram. So now we make ads for Instagram. And I don't personally post on Instagram because I hate it. But nowadays, a lot of people tell me that, "Arey, you've done so much work, make your page. That is how you should sell."
Yeah.
Like earlier back in the day, like you were also saying that we used to go with a show reel.
For me, it was a CD I used to go with, basically.
For me, when I started, it was that link. Now nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Your Instagram page is what matters.
Yeah.
No, sir.
That's their showcase right now, actually. And for me, I mean, frankly speaking, I don't think I've been able to utilize that to its maximum potential as well.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I think it's my generation or my adaptability to it. I used Instagram for more personal moments.
Same.
So for me, it was exposure to Facebook happened in probably 2007, 8 or something. I'm not sure, around about there.
Around that time, yeah.
And you put up stuff and you're like, you do not understand projection.
Exactly.
I mean, right now we call it PR, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can be a great director, but if you suck at PR,
you will
not get work.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think right now your Instagram page is your PR page, basically.
But like you tell me, like as my senior, I'm asking you this, that like nowadays, I meet a lot of young kids. Say I'm 36 now, so when I say kids, I'm talking about 23, 24-year-old boys and girls. No offense to nobody, they don't know a lot of things, but because their Instagram page is there, they have a certain following. They also are competing for the same project. Like recently, I did a film for a brand. It was a big brand, and we did a brand film, like an internet film for that. I got to direct that film, but before I was selected, my counterparts were 23, 24-year-old kids who actually, like, no offense, but haven't done a lot in filmmaking, but they have a lot of following on Instagram. Like once one agency literally asked me that, okay, we are shortlisting you for the director's position, and you know, there's this. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
I think followers matter if you are an influencer.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
if you are the face.
Yeah.
If
But
you
as
are
a director,
as
how
a
does that
director,
matter?
why does it matter?
Yeah.
As a director, your work matters.
Oh.
Your what you can create matters.
Exactly, right?
Your followers don't really matter at that point of time.
But that's the thing, the agency people who are there now, the decision makers of the agency who decide that, okay, this production house will hire, this director will hire, they are also internet, Instagram, zamane ka people.
Correct.
So they just think on those terms, you know. So that is a,
because
I don't like it a lot.
As a director, you're never a face on camera.
Yeah.
So no one's really going to recognize you. The only people who will follow you are people who are from the industry.
Yeah.
Because they want to know what you're doing. They want to, like, you know, there'll be cameramen, there'll be technical support, everyone who wants to follow a director because, okay, they worked with you, we want to know what his work is like, or we want to work with him, we want to know what his work is like.
Yeah.
I mean, your work, if your showcase is great, your followers don't matter. That is how I look at it, and I don't think I want to change my opinion about that.
Yeah, I also don't, but sadly enough, I think that's changing now. Because, like, you know, a lot of directors, very good directors, like, you know, people who are doing great work right now, especially in advertising. Like, you know, if I can name, Ayappa is one of them, Ayappa KM.
I've heard of him, yes.
He's crazy. He's one of the best ad filmmakers in the world, I would say, right now.
He's MTV, right?
He was, I think he started off in MTV
yeah,
some point in time. He shot to fame with the cred ads.
Okay.
All the famous cred ads that came out about 2-3 years back. Then there's another guy called Akash Bhatia. If you look at their Instagram, it's still a very personal page.
Correct.
They don't put out their work, but it's a little lesser known people, I think, who are being arm twisted into, you know, making their Instagram pages into their profile pages, you know, like their showreel pages.
So my 20s were my learning phase. My late 20s to my mid 30s were my, like, growth phase.
Yeah.
After 35 onwards, it becomes this phase of where, okay, you're actually again trying to find your footing. Where do you fit in? What do you do? Where do you take this journey?
I'm going through that right now.
Yeah. And then after 40, you become too expensive.
Yeah. True.
So maybe like what you were saying earlier, right? The 23, 24-year-olds who had like great followings on Instagram were pitching for jobs, but I think they will also be cheaper.
Yeah, they're much cheaper. That's true.
And the thing is, it's a cycle. I realized when I was 30, I replaced other directors because I was cheaper. Maybe my work was good. But yes,
the price tag is also
very important. So today I feel we've reached a place where the people who take the call, who should be on the show, are like, इससे कम चल जाएगा, पैसा भी कम है. I'm not being unfair to anyone or anything, but that is how I've seen the market move. What is the next thing I do? Like, you know, a few years ago during COVID, I started a company called Format King. The whole idea was to create concepts, to create IPs.
Nice.
So all I did in the last few years was create different sets of IPs.
Nice.
So the last thing I did was I learned AI. Okay, and I wanted AI to replace paintings in people's houses. So I can, like, you know, you put up a LED screen and you have moving art over there.
Nice.
So my AI page is all about creating moving art, basically. Instead of having a static painting, let the visuals move and I add music to it.
Nice.
For me, I'm a visual person. I like playing with music.
That's true.
I will like playing with visuals.
I like the term nowadays, visual artist. You know, like I've just started using that for myself. But there's a thing, now the thing is like you're saying, this is the good use of AI. Like, you know, use it for random things that support you and help you.
But the thing is, it's like a new market, right? I don't know if anyone's doing it.
Now, I think the problem that's coming along is, again, in advertising, AI is suddenly all the agencies and clients and brands, you know, they are focusing too much on AI. Now, if you give them a concept, if you give them a budget about a good film, they'll be like, do it on AI. No, nobody's understanding that it's not a long-term thing. It's not feasible, and everybody is jumping onto the thing right now. Recently, like I just had a couple of meetings with some big names in Bombay in the film industry who are suddenly diverting all their attention towards AI, which is good. I'm not saying that be stuck up, and you should. I have learned that you should always, you know, adapt,
learn,
reinventing yourself.
Correct.
You know, and go with the flow.
Correct.
You can't completely rely on technology and put the human brain at rest, right? So the last 1 year, you know, has been a big learning curve for me because, as you said, you know, around 35, you're reinventing. So I'm 36. So last 1 year, I'm still reinventing. But I figured that, you know, like I was someone, like while growing up for whatever reasons, post-college basically, I somewhere quantified my own value with the work I do.
Always, right?
Yeah, but in the last 1 year, I've realized that that shouldn't be the case. At least for me, I've realized that my work is very important. It's my calling card. It tells people who I am. But life is beyond work also, right?
Of course.
So last 1 year, what happened? First, my dog died. Then my grandmother died. I had two big heartbreaks back to back. And then I realized I couldn't meet my grandmother for, like, right before she died, I couldn't meet her because I was working. I wasn't doing a job. I was doing freelance gigs and I was getting good work. So I would always think, like, whenever she would call me, ki, beta, come and meet me. I don't know how many days I have left. She was like my best friend. But my thing was always, I used to tell her that I used to call her Nina. Okay, so bachpan se I couldn't say Nani, so I used to call her Nina. So I would be like, Nina, let me just do this one project. No, it's a very good paycheck I'm going to get. So I was always delaying it by 1 week. Nina, next week I'll come. One project has come. Nina, this big brand has come. Let me do this. Then one day I got a call from my uncle that Nina has died. So that was one big slap on my face. And then my dog died. So after these two things happened for me, then I was like, is work so important? Earlier, as I said, work was the only thing that defined me and mattered to me. In the last 1 year, I've said, thoda, the people are slow living. I am now discovering slow living. So I've been traveling and not giving a lot of attention to work.
Life pe focus karta hu.
Haan, no, that is also important, no? Because suddenly I was like, what is the point? You know, because this whole thing, we always one more project, one more paycheck, one more project.
Shadaab, something similar. So for me, I was in hot pursuit of my career from the age of 20 till like 32. You know, I had this step ladder that I created, a vision board that I created, where by 40 I had said I would be directing films. That is what I wanted to do. And I had a clear vision that I was working towards, okay? And somehow travel opened up my perception. The person that I was, the person that I grew up as, I was looking at life just through this much perspective. Okay, when I went on travel, people I met from around the country while working, people like you who came to Bombay.
Yeah.
Okay, the experiences that I've had with y'all has been very different. And with travel, my blinders just opened out and I started seeing a 180 perspective. Okay, like I saw a broader vision of life. So I remember I was at this point, I was 32 years old, I was living in Warsaw, I had a sea-facing flat, it was like plush and beautiful, and I was busy. I was doing X Factor at that point.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and I was the reality director for that. So this was in 2010, and every time I got some time, right, which I never got till then, I used to sit at my balcony and I used to stare at the ocean. I used to watch the sunsets, the moon sets, the tides, the boats going out into the ocean. I mean, that is, you're seeing things happening. You know, now I'm like, I know scheduling, you know, like 7, I see the small boats go out into the ocean and all that. With that started a level of introspection, okay? I just sat back one day and I was like, at 38, where will I be? I again saw myself in a house. I seemed to be doing well. But in that entire house, I was alone. And I was like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Okay? I was like, I don't want to be alone and successful. I didn't want that. Probably I wanted family. Probably I wanted this thing of, okay, life should be a little more than be lonely sitting in a house.
Yeah.
And I switched. Immediately from doing reality shows, I went into niche shows. I went into food shows. I went into food, fashion, travel.
Nice.
I did work that took me a lot around the country. And when I hit 38, I remember I had this vision I had when I was at 32. And I was like, okay, today I have my wife, I have my kids. I was like, okay, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that guy who was sitting alone and doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that point comes in your life where you make a choice. What do you want to do and how you want your life to be? And I think that's the direction I took it in. It probably caused my career to dip a bit. So I've been in this phase of where it's like a ECG, where you go up, do a great show, then you're like, okay, you come down again, you go up again, you come down. So it was that kind of a phase. For the last 10 years, I've been looking for a way to create content. And finally this year, I came to a point where I was like, you know what, let me create a podcast. I was like, maybe we need to do things that will make people realize how they should probably follow their dream. Like you're saying right now, you're trying to define what you want to do next. How do you deal with that? Like, what are the frames you go through? Do you go through times where you're like questioning yourself, "Ki main kya kar raha hu? Like, what am I doing?" Maybe you have friends who are into banking and every other sector who seem stable. Have you been through that phase where you're saying, "Okay, I need to change what I'm doing. I need to switch what I'm doing to achieve the life that I want as well"? Because it can't just be about work, right?
Yeah. All my school friends, college friends, everybody is married. Most of them have kids. I think me and the actor friend of mine, because he's an actor, we are the only two 36 years olds who aren't married or have kids. So, but like before, like about 2-3 years back, till 2-3 years back, as I said, everything for me was just about, and when I say for me, in my own eyes, in my subconscious, everything was, what is the work I'm doing? How much money I'm earning? What is the car I'm driving?
Correct.
So, like, I bought, when the Thar was launched, I went ahead and bought a Thar. Luckily, I could afford it. All of that is good. But then in the last 2 years, things started changing a little bit. And it wasn't about anything. Like, all my friends, like one of my friends, he's in the army. He's like a decorated officer today. Another friend of mine works in a big bank, in a big, job. The same guy who did physics, chemistry, maths, then did engineering, then went into a bank. So they earned well and everything. But whenever we meet, they look at me and they're like, bro, kya life lead kar raha hai? You're traveling, you're living the life you want and everything. But then the thing that struck me was this whole thing that, is my work the only thing that defines me? What are my likes? What are my dislikes? At one point in time, 2 years ago, when after my dog and my grandmother died, I did not know. I really did not know what is it that I like. Because I was like, I come back from a shoot, I eat biryani. Or I love drinking, so I drink. But these are not the two things that can define me or my work. So that is when I took a break. A conscious decision I took was that, I took a break. I went back to Delhi first. So my mom retired. And my mom moved back to her mother's house in Assam.
Okay.
So then I went, after grandmother passed away, I stayed 2 months in Assam. I really liked the fact that I wasn't doing anything at that point of time. So my house is in it's not in Guwahati, it's outside Guwahati. So a little rural area, rustic area. So you can see thoda sa hills and all. You can see the greenery. That's the main thing. Then luckily, my partner, she's from Sikkim. So she invited me to her home. I spent 2 months in Sikkim. And I just fell in love with everything, because this was the first time that, I was traveling to all these places, but I had no agenda. I could wake up whenever I want to. Then recently I went and spent almost a month in Ladakh. And that's what I'm coming to, that, like, I want to work because work is important and work pays the bills and everything.
And work will take you traveling everywhere.
But just to live without figuring out, because like, one thing that hit me, I don't know how correct it is or not. I was like, whoever's made Bhagwan, Allah, creator, universe, whoever's made us, that same entity has made dogs, cats and dolphins also.
Correct.
Right? These guys don't worry about, I have to do this, I have to win this award, I have to make this, I have to earn this much money, drive this car. So I was like, why are we humans worried about these things?
Shadaab, just tell me, have you been through this phase of defining who you are? Like, who am I? Have you been through that process, or are you going through that process right now?
I think I'm going through that process in the last 3-4 years. As I said, sorry, like till a point, my whole thing was just about the next project should be bigger than this project. The next paycheck should be bigger than this paycheck.
Obviously.
When I achieved it, touch what I did, it should remain like that. But that is the time when I was like, okay, expensive shoes, expensive clothes, perfumes. are these things what define me?
Single malt.
Yeah, so but that is the thing. I still don't know who I am. So that's why I'm taking a little break, going a little slow, and trying to figure out what this slow living is, where you don't have to. There is no agenda. Agenda is living life as the day goes by, and जो भी होता है दिन का problem देखो कैसे होता है क्या होता है आगे करके.
Correct. Shadaab, we were talking about like, you know, you are trying to, you're in a phase where you're trying to define yourself.
Yeah.
How has that journey been?
It's a very up and down sort of a journey, because there are days when I feel that okay, I know, and I'm just talking about everything not related to work.
Correct.
I figured at one point in time that I had anger issues. I would get angry very quickly, and that would come out on people who didn't even call for it, and basically it wasn't okay. The whole self-discovery journey or whatever began with my dog and my grandmother dying, then me accepting the fact that I have anger issues, and then everything has just been, I'm being completely honest, I'm not trying to sound somewhere, everything was about that at the end of the day, can I call myself a good guy?
Correct.
Because at one point in time I was like, am I a good guy? Because since childhood one thing has happened with me, all my friends' parents always think that I'm the good guy. But my mother always knew that I am the bad influence on everybody else. Right? There are days when I feel that okay, I'm on the right track, I'm getting where I want to be, which is just be a decent person. That, you know, the whole thing is that kal ko main if I meet you and the moment I leave, you shouldn't be like, मेरी तारीफ मत कर, बस बोलो हाँ ठीक है, ठीक बंदा है, मैं उतना में खुश हूँ. हाँ, but there are days when I suddenly fall back to what I was before. Then one time again I was like, this can't be the thing that defines me. But in the self-discovery journey, there are times when I suddenly fall back, and then I have to pull myself out of it. So yeah, it's a up and down thing, and it's a very cliche line, but you know, you learn every day and you learn as you go. Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Correct.
What would you say?
I mean, it's something similar. So you're talking about anger issues, right? When I was leading my teams, okay, I as a director or as a reality director, I used to be like very disciplined. B, I used to be like, if I had to say something, I would say it. I didn't care about whether it hurt someone or not. I'm not saying my anger issues went away, but right now,
You're in control.
and when I'm not in control, I apologize immediately.
Yeah.
I created this show called Engaged, okay? And when the team came on board to execute it, so my team was Gen Z, millennials, and then me, right, Gen X. So sometimes they would throw a question or disagree with an idea. Because I was in my flow of thought, I didn't want that to be disturbed. So I would snap.
Yeah.
Okay? I would snap for 10 seconds, go back to finishing the idea. While that is happening, I'm telling myself, dude, how did you lose control again?
Yeah.
Like, because that is what you're trying to do, right? You don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
And then immediately I would look at that and say, I'm so sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. You know, I'm really sorry I spoke that way to you, but please do not take it to your heart. I mean, it's a creative discussion. Maybe there are times when things go out of control, but I'll try that it doesn't go out of control again.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not meant from a place of that I'm trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of a thing.
So, you know, like today, one thing that I really take a little pride in, not a lot of pride, I don't lose my cool when I'm shooting. On a set, no matter what it is, be it a proper ad film, a brand film, or a social media video, like my whole thing is that is my most happiest place. When I'm shooting, when I'm with the camera, when I'm directing someone, so I don't get angry. This thing, you know, I picked up from, there's this director in Delhi called Rahul Bali. He's also ex-Meditech, like way back in the day. You probably would know him. So he was one of my first directors, and I learned this thing from him. So we were shooting an AFP series for Mercedes, and the anchor, later on she became one of my closest friends. So I was in the initial episode, I was the AD, I was trying to impress her. So there is a drive-in beach in Kerala, Thalassery, India's only drive-in beach.
Okay.
So we had to take a shot of the Mercedes with the sea. So shot ho gaya, shot ke baad the anchor was sitting and I was driving. So I was like, मैं drift मार के दिखाता हूँ beach पे. Delhi boy came out. So drift मारते time, we were driving a ML250 Mercedes का. I lost control. The car toppled on the beach.
Oh shit.
Nobody got hurt, but the car toppled. Fishermen had to come and they helped us out. And I told my anchor, I was like, listen, today is my last day, I'll get fired. मैं तो गाड़ी पलट दी. My director came. He's like, are you okay? He came out. I was shit scared, okay? This is in 2012. I must have been like 21 or something. George, you know, he did not shout at me or show angry eyes at me once also. 2 days later, with him only on another shoot schedule, the call time was for 5 a.m. I came down at 5:02. In front of the entire crew, he blasted my ass off. Some years later, we became drinking buddies, we became friends. So I asked him, I was like, sir, remember Kerala mein maine Mercedes palat di thi? You did not say anything to me. Then somewhere else, you know, I was late, you blasted me. Why did you do that? So he told me that toppling the Mercedes, even though it was your हीरोगिरी जिसकी वजह से हुआ, it wasn't under your control. Being late was under your control. So something which is under your control and still is a mistake, you will be fired for. Something which is not under your control, you will not be fired.
Yeah.
This one line that he told me has stuck with me, that, you know, like today, the thing that I said that I take a little pride in, people, whoever I'm shooting with, love when I'm directing, because they know A, I shoot fast. So I'm always a producer's delight because I finish before like the shift.
Yeah.
And number two, if at all there is a problem, I just say one thing, because I learned that from that Rahul Bali only, that as a director, one of my key jobs is, KRA, is to solve everybody's problems. You come with me to the problem, I am not going to give you more problem by shouting it.
Yeah.
I will smile and take it.
Okay.
So then in my self journey, the thing what happened was, then I tried, I'm still trying, that in my personal life, I will try and be as happy as I am in my work life. Like the happiness that I get when I'm standing besides the camera,
right,
that should be my natural thing.
Right, you don't need to be a different person everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's not that projection that made director who and all that. Like for me also, it's kind of similar. I mean, we are talking about both our journeys, which is like a decade apart.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I went through that phase of defining who I am. Okay. I realized that I was not a good person that I thought I was.
Okay.
And I needed to improve.
Yeah.
And I tried improving. I think I did improve. Today, when I create a team to execute a show, when I am on floor executing a show, again, like you said, it finishes within a shift.
Yeah.
I will not waste extra money.
Yeah.
Secondly, I will make sure the vibe is good.
Yeah. That's very important.
That
right?
the team is having fun,
yeah,
learning, and still doing a great job.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about pressure में आके कुछ भी कर दो.
हाँ, तब मजा ही आएगा.
And if there is pressure, figure out a way to handle it.
Exactly.
If there's a problem, figure out a solution. That's what I used to always tell my team from the start. Don't come to me with problems.
Yeah.
Come with your problem and a solution that you have.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we'll work on it.
Yeah.
Because everyone can bring problems. Bring problems to sub la sakte hain.
Solution कौन लाए?
Solution कौन लाए?
Yeah.
You know, it can't always be one person who's giving you the solution.
Yeah.
I may have it. But I would want you to think about it, because I'm building not just the show, I'm building you to be better than who you are.
Exactly.
That way, in terms, I want to equip everyone who works with me to put out their best potential, basically, you know, and bring their best selves to the work.
It's not just about our line of work. We always have a thing that work may, this is who I am. We have a balance. Nobody loses corporate office. People do.
Yeah.
But, you know, everybody maintains a balance.
Right.
So, if you take the work part out of it and just apply that balance wala part in your day-to-day life also, it can be a nice thing. No, matlab, no matter what problem, people face financial problems, people face this problem. You don't have to. I am also assuming that it's easier said than done, but because I have experienced it, that if we let the problem take over, whatever problem it is, a financial problem in life, medical problem in family, anything, if we let the problem take over, then it will take over. So like I read somewhere that, you know, reality is nothing, it's just your perception of things, right?
True.
So that can be there in problem also. अगर मैं problem को बोलूँ, यार मेरे को financial problem हो गई है, मेरा सब कुछ खत्म हो गया, तो वो वैसे ही रहेगा. मैं अगर बोलूँ यार financial problem, कौन सी बड़ी बात है? I will do something and take care of it. Luckily, it has worked out for me like that. So I think that ways is a good.
I think so too. I mean, it can't take over. Somehow, for me, when I'm at work, everything else disappears.
Yeah.
It just melts into the background, and I'm like doing that.
Well, I feel sometimes work and in real life also, we get stuck. Everybody gets stuck in the definition of right and wrong.
Correct.
But the thing is that on a larger scale, I'm saying right and wrong both are made by us only, humans only. There is no right and wrong in universe, right?
Yeah.
There is no. So whatever you do good, and if it is doing good to two other people, even if it is not doing good to two other people, main crux should be कि किसी का बुरा ना हो. मैं जो करूँ अच्छा हो गया तो अच्छी बात है, अच्छा नहीं भी हुआ तो किसी का बुरा नहीं होना चाहिए, उतना ही चलना चाहिए. I think मतलब पता नहीं.
I think that's the
Yeah.
way it should be also.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, say, karma,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Karma.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sow the seeds of something bad.
Bad. Yeah. Because it
I
will
would
come
rather
back.
I would rather sow the seed for something good.
Yeah.
That's all. That's been my approach over the last, say, 15 years.
Yeah.
People might look at it differently, but I'm like, I would rather be the person that I am than change it for whatever's happening around me. My focus is my family. My focus is my work.
Yeah.
And I want to balance that and keep both of them a happy space.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, change that because of the circumstances that are around me,
Yeah.
or the people that who require me to be that.
Exactly.
That is something I don't want to do.
Huh.
I would rather be myself.
Yeah.
I'm quite comfortable with who I am right now and the space that I'm in, and I'd like to take that journey forward
Yeah.
to the next level.
That's what's important,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't know, I might be sounding someone who's bashing work a lot, but I love work. That's why I'm saying this. But the work cannot be the only thing. It has to be, at the end of the day, it has to be about, can you look at yourself in the mirror and not be ashamed?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, people say a lot of things in front of the world,
Yeah.
but akele mirror pe jaake, there are times that, I have experienced this myself, that, it used to happen earlier. That, like in the mirror also, there would be times that I'm lying to myself.
Yeah.
But then I was
That's
like,
because at that point you don't know, right?
Yeah.
At that point you don't define yourself.
exactly.
Wiki, who I am and who I want to be,
Yeah.
does it match the person I'm looking at?
Exactly.
I mean, I think that's the thing. Like for me also, it was while I was in my phase where I was like this person who wanted things to be done a particular way, and I would like shout or yell at people. It was a few years later when I started focusing on the life aspect of things. Like I wanted my life to be a particular way. When I made that switch of, okay, I do not want to be doing these kind of shows right now. I want to be doing more shows that will help me find my path as well.
Yeah.
Is when I realized, dude, you were not a good guy. You've been a-hole to quite a few people,
Yeah.
and that is not nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that. And it took me time. It took improvement. Maybe everyone sees it. Maybe not everyone sees it. But for sure, the people who worked with me, my team, they know that, okay, fine. I can rely on this guy. That's what I'm assuming right now, that the change is visible.
Like in this context, like my partner, she says this thing she hasn't invented this thing, but it's a very common saying. It's human to error.
Correct.
And so she tells me this thing, that whenever I'm like, "Arey yaar, I should have done this thing like this," oh, that person, she's like, "You're a human. You learn today, you learned this thing. Tomorrow, you'll not do this mistake."
Right.
So her words always stick with me, that it's human to error, and learn as you go.
I think it's the women in our life who bring out the balance in us.
That's true.
Like because their way, their perception, and I think they're downright honest when they speak to you.
Yeah.
Because they are looking at you to be better.
Yeah.
And do you beat yourself down about the mistakes you make?
I sometimes, earlier I used to a lot, like at one point in time I probably had a fight with someone, a friend maybe, and then like many years down the line I'm still holding the gun to my head saying that, "Arey yaar, ye nahi karna chahiye." So that is when, like I read in some book somewhere, I don't remember the book, but I read that like if we keep putting the gun to our head, then we are always going to be under pressure. गलती हुई, गलती से सीखो, आगे बढ़ो, लाइफ में वो गलती दोबारा नहीं होनी चाहिए, ट्राई करो. अगेन नथिंग इज सॉलिड, राइट? अभी यहाँ से चलते टाइम मुझे नहीं पता है कि मेरा पैर मुड़ेगा कि नहीं मुड़ेगा. मुड़ गया तो ठीक है, आई विल होल्ड माई सेल्फ बैक अप अगेन एंड कीप वॉकिंग. आई कांट बी फॉलिंग एंड बी लाइक, ओ मैंने गलत पैर रख दिया, मैं गिर गया. सो आई विल बी स्टक देयर. सो दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई एम लर्निंग, दैट इफ यू one should always strive to keep moving ahead in life, not just work, in life. And to move ahead in life, you have to realize the mistakes you've made, hold yourself responsible for that moment, understand the mistake, then learn and move on.
And not blame others about it.
Yeah, that too.
Because whatever it is, it's your learning.
Exactly.
Whatever situation you are in, it's your learning.
Yeah.
You take what you can from that and you move ahead.
Like I told you, like when the Mercedes toppled.
Yeah.
First I thought, let me blame the sand, let me blame my anchor की. फिर मैंने बोला उसकी क्या गलती? उसको तो impress करने के लिए मैं उस sand पे गाड़ी drift मार रहा था ना, तो गलती मेरी है. Right. So
like coming back to something you said right at the start, right? When you as a AD you had gone and suggested something to the director,
Yeah.
and you got blasted for
Yeah.
it. Initially, even I thought that was how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And if you got blasted, I should be like, why did you blast? You know.
Exactly.
But I also realized that this later I understood that by the time the director is already doing that, he has thought about it enough.
Yeah.
You know, and it's our not knowing or our way of seeing things, or maybe we don't connect the previous shot with this shot.
Yeah.
That we say, okay, could you do it this way? And I remember like there used to be chief ADs or someone on the crew who tell me, don't,
Yeah.
hold back.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point of being a director, how do you react to it?
Yeah.
Would you take a suggestion from a AD on shoot when you're doing a shot?
So there are times, you know, like a lot of times what happens, because like, you know, ads, when we're shooting ads of any kind, we are in a 3-day schedule and everything is going too fast, right? But like, I always go back to this moment where I went to someone with a suggestion and I was blasted off. Today, there are times, every shoot this happens, there are a lot of people, ADs, some costume AD or my first AD, someone comes with a suggestion. I always listen to their suggestion because I don't want to be this person who 10 years down the line that person still hates कि साला मैं उसके पास एक idea लेकर गया तो उसने मेरे को गाली देके भगा दिया. तो मैं सुनता हूँ. अगर if I find, because at the end of the day I am the person who's making the decision on the set as a director. If I find some merit in that suggestion, I will definitely take it, no matter who that suggestion is coming from. Be it a spot boy, be it a AD, or be it a client. If it is good, I will take it into consideration.
Right.
Recently, this happened on a shoot. There's this AD I had. She was a costume AD, and it was probably her first or second gig in her life. So she is very young. She came up with a suggestion, and we were stuck. Like, we had to take a shot. We were shooting some hair product ka something. And there's a voice of God that happens and the product falls into, which is a very typical shot, the product falling into the hand. So I was trying to think, how do we go about it? How do we shoot it separately? But I wasn't able to come up with an idea on that at that moment. This young girl came and she just said something. And luckily I could visualize it the moment she was speaking, and we shot it. And later on, that ad is online. It became the talking point of that ad, which came from that girl.
Yeah.
So when I went to her, I said, thank you so much.
Yeah.
The film is looking the way it is because of you.
Like, you know, like as a director, not many people say it or accept it.
Okay.
Like, you know, in the last podcast also I was doing, there was this topic of me saying, you know, being straight up with conviction, telling people what I would do, what I would not do. And I had said that I changed. I believe that, okay, you have a perspective. Let me listen to you.
Yeah.
If it works, I will do it. If it does not work with what is flowing in my head right now, I'll avoid it.
Yeah.
But I will keep your suggestion in mind. Maybe we can use it somewhere else.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the decision is ours. If we also become the people who blast off everybody, then again, my thing is that सुनने में क्या हर्ज है? किसी का आइडिया सुन लो, लेना ना लेना आपके ऊपर है.
Right.
सुनो तो उसको भी अच्छा लग जाएगा.
Right.
वो अच्छा लगेगा तो स्माइल ही दे देगा, तो that is, I count that as good karma.
Right.
कि if someone looks at you, gives you a smile, no, that is someone praying for you indirectly, and that is good karma getting added to your book of life.
Right. So Shadaab, what's next for you, man? Where's your journey taking you next?
I used to plan a lot in life and, you know, try to follow that plan. But then again, in the chapter of me learning about myself again, I've realized that there is no point in making a lot of plans. You should go with the flow. So in the last 1 year, I've done that a lot. So as of now, I have a house in Bombay. I have a house in Delhi. I have a house in Assam. I have a house in Sikkim. So I am not locked at one place. So in the last 1 year, the best thing has been that I've traveled the entirety of my career. But in the last 1 year, I've mostly traveled without work. So right now, I'm just living that thing and going with the flow. Some project comes. Abhi jaise like I said, you know, I was in Sikkim for 2 months, and then we were just spending time, and my partner, she had this concept. So she's basically, she works a lot with queer people and transgender people for their benefit and help.
Great. You should. Your partner should meet my wife.
Okay.
Whose friends are queer people and transgender people.
Yeah. So basically, what she did was she had this concept. So like, you know, and we were traveling, and then she said, can we take out 2 days from our travel and vacation? I want to shoot these 2 things with these 2 transgender people. And we did that. And like we sent it for some, we shot it on the phone only, and we sent it for something, and we got a grant. So we were working on that film. And then I was in Ladakh. There I happened to, you know, bump into Sonam Wangchu, who's the person on whom Amir Khan's character was based in Three Idiots. I met him, I spent some time with him, got to learn a lot. So Abhi, then I came back to Bombay for a shoot. Then I met you again. This wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah.
So let's see. Abhi, next week I'm planning to, again take another break and go to Goa and see. Again, I'm discovering the slow life in different places and being.
So Shadaab, I'll just tell you, your journey right now is my life in 2014, dude.
Time travel is happening.
and I'm telling you, my life was like this and it flipped.
Okay.
So maybe you're on that path of getting your life to flip, dude. So I hope it flips. It flips beautifully for you. I mean, it's been amazing talking to you. I don't know where we traveled with this conversation, but it's been wholesome for me.
Yeah, it was a good chat.
Yeah, lovely man. Thank you, Shadaab.
Thank you.
YearBeerFatte.